Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you, John. Good afternoon. My name is John Lewis. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation. I've been on board since September. This is one of the projects that I've been looking forward to very much since my appointment, and we're finally here, May 31st, for the Pratt Street Pickleball and Tennis opening. So I know everyone's anxious to play, so I'll get through my speech pretty quickly, and then we're going to hand it off to CPC and Parks and Rec Commission. So I just want to thank a few people to make this project happen. So first, the Community Preservation Committee. Without them, this project would not have been funded, so thank you, CPC. The Parks and Rec Commission for backing this project since day one, gaining the feedback from the community and making this possible. So Dan Terry, our chair of the commission, Amy O'Donnell, Laura Hansen, Ravi Desari, Seth Kenny, and our new commissioner, Kyle Smith. Thank you all very much. Leonard Design Associates, specifically Andrew from Andrew Leonard Designs, made this park happen, along with Mark Heimlich from Heimlich Landscape. They did an excellent job. Final touches were put in this morning. The fence came down yesterday. They met their deadline that we gave them, so thank you to those groups. And I would not be here being able to do what I do without my staff. Parks and Recreation staff make all the things happen that you guys use daily. Our programs, our facilities, we handle the calls, the complaints. Rarely do we get complimented. I want to compliment my staff, Colleen Allen.
Yeah, Colleen.
Maureen Salmon.
Yeah, Maureen.
And Jenny Hart as well.
Yeah.
And lastly, thank you to you, right? This is the community project. We gain feedback from the community on what you would like, and without your support, your voice, we would not be here without you. So a round of applause for everyone who attended. From here, I'm going to turn it over to Dan Terry, the chair of the Park and Rec Commission.
So I can be even briefer than John. Thanks, John. I would reiterate everyone he thanks, but I do want to just point out that one of the key parts in this process, and a part of the process that I thought was most effective. This was a significant investment by the town. It was great funding by CPC. Ken's the chair of the CPC, and he's going to speak in a minute. But for me, I appreciated this whole process because it really did come from requests from the community, and it was the community that came to Parks and Rec and kind of said, we need this. And as we started to run with it a little bit and started to have the funding request take shape to go to CPC, we kind of stood back and let the members of the community come up and just discuss the need and the desire for an investment in something like this. So very proud of this. I would love to reiterate everything John said in terms of everyone that was involved. A lot of folks at Town Hall were intimately involved in everything from design to getting bids to fielding bids to making sure the whole process went smoothly. I'd also like to point out that this is being delivered a day early and on budget, and we have John to thank for that. He managed to do that in his first 8 or 9 months here. He picked up this project as it was starting to gain momentum. So welcome and thank you very much. And here's Ken Weissmantle, the chair at CPC.
Okay, Ken Weissmantle, 145 Ash Street. Speaking as chair of the Community Preservation Committee. We've already gone through most of the thank yous, some of which I was going to thank, but I see our Vice Chairman, Eric Sonnet, is here from CPC. I didn't see any other CPC members here yet. Dan. I'm sorry. Yes, Dan, yes. By the way, you guys got a great recreation advocate in Dan Terry when he's on the CPC. I mean, he puts in a lot of hard work. There's a couple other people that I think ought to get recognized here today too. We have a visitor who's a part-time resident at this point, Ron Clark. Most people don't, well, maybe they remember him as a selectman and planning board for many years ago, but Ron Clark led the town's effort to adopt the bylaw to allow for CPC funding, which takes 2% of your taxes and allows us to fund projects in our 4 areas, which is recreation, open space, community housing, and historic. We're getting there. And so Ron, first of all, he led the charge to adopt CPC, and then while he was on the board of selectmen, he led the charge to buy the Fruit Street property, and he co-chaired the first master plan committee for this entire property. At a time, probably we didn't even know that pickleball existed, but anyway, you can see how this has developed over the years, and this Fruit Street property, which was funded in part by CPC, has really been an asset to the town. And then Ron brings one other key thing to the town. He married up, and he brought Nancy Clark to the town. And Nancy, besides being a now retired history and government teacher in the high school, coached the women's tennis team and took it from a program that was not too good to league champions. And so Ron gets credit for bringing her to town many years ago. So that kind of is the thank you part. Let me go a little bit on CPC. As we've said, we fund in 4 different ways. And if people have an idea, like the people that came before us for this project, think about other things we can do in those four areas. We take requests every October. The deadline is October 10th. We're looking to do big open space purchases, more recreation. Parks and Rec is finishing up on a few of their projects, and hopefully they'll have some big ideas coming up for maybe the next season. So anyway, CPC is going forward on those type of projects. And then the last thing I'd like to do is kind of take a personal note as to why I'll say this project is really important to me as a person. Most people here don't know that my dad was a nationally ranked tennis player. And I learned how to walk on a tennis court. And I had my first racket when I was 2 years old and could barely lift it across the court. And after he stopped playing competitive tennis, then he started teaching tennis in conjunction with his Parks and Rec in Waukegan, Illinois, and the YMCA. It was a joint program, and they were teaching 500 kids in our community how to play tennis every summer. And from that, he went on to the school committee for 12 years, and then he got onto the county board, where he was on the Natural Resources Committee, where he bought up a lot of farms that were for sale in the 60s and 70s in that part of Illinois for open space and forest preserve areas. So 2 or 3 of the things that are CPC are things that I kind of grew up with, and I kind of really enjoyed that. So anyway, that's kind of, and then the last thing my dad is he was a Port Authority member appointed by the governor. And I'd like to also announce that the boat dock that we've been working on with CPC and Parks and Rec, we're in the process of finalizing a permit. We have an interim permit, and I understand it's going to get delivered on the 25th of June. Congratulations! This is probably one of our longest standing projects. It took forever. Anyway. So at this point, I think we're ready to cut the ribbon.
Just quick housekeeping for the actual courts itself. I know there's been a lot of questions about what use is going to happen, programs, things of that nature. There's a QR code on this table. I'm asking for anyone interested in use of this facility to fill that out. Parks and Recreation is going to use your feedback over the next month to 2 months, gather that information, combine it with our expertise in the field, other communities, and implement those into the fall. So starting in September, we'll have programs, we'll have court reservations, we'll have open play, a mixture of everything. We didn't implement that just yet because we wanted to hear from you, from the community, and how you would like it. So from now, May 31st up till September, these courts are open, free of use, 24/7, well, dawn to dusk. And That's it. So we're going to ask you guys to work together, police each other. We do have a set of rules and regulations on our website right now. You can check that out. But again, I please ask you to fill out this survey. It's 20 questions. Take your time with it, and we'll go from there.
John, I failed to introduce a couple of other key people on the Parks and Rec Commission. Laura Hanson is our vice chair. Amy O'Donnell has been a member for a couple of years. Kyle over here, Kyle Smith, is a new member, and I just wanted to make sure that I introduced them in case anyone had any questions. Thank you.
They're beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to gather on either side of the opening to the fence, love to have you in the picture. All right. Those who can get on their knee, please do so. You're going to keep coming. Anyone younger than me?
Yeah, expertise.
Okay, Ken, I'm going to give you a countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1, cut.
Thank you. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.